So, recall that in the last class we had just defined this, right. We had defined what a Z transform signal is. X uppercase Z is defined as summation of all the sampled values of the continuous time signal xk into z to the power of minus k, k is 0 to infinity. Okay. So, this is the, so it is basically, if you look by inspection here, the coefficients of the impulse function and the end domain impulse impulse functions, this coefficient and the coefficient of this polynomial in z will remain the same. So, they are 1 to 1, except that the notation you use the z. Now, let us see how we can represent a signal in the discrete domain. So, let us have the graph. X axis is n, discrete time. So, y axis we will have the signal. Now, let me put a signal something like this, could be any signal for that matter. So, I have taken this, it's easy, straight lines, and then you can join them. Okay. So, let us also have sample times. This is a continuous time signal xt. Okay. Now, let us sample it. So, what are the sample points? Okay. So, the sample points are displaced with some interval, sampling time interval t. Okay. So, 0, 1t, 2t, 3t, 4t, 5t, 60, 70, 80. Okay. So, it is one period full 80, okay, 8 sample points. Then on sampling, you actually basically take the points at every sample instant, okay. Then you will move horizontal and then hold, that is sample and then hold, but I will not show the hold now because I just want to focus on the sample points, but digital signal would be sample and hold, sample and hold. Okay. So, this is the second sample point. So, let us say it is 0.5 and this is the third sample point, this is 1. So, at 0t you have 0, at 1t you have 0.5, at 2t you have 1, 3t you have again 0.5, 0 at 4t, at 5t minus 0.5, minus 1 at 6t, minus 0.5 at 7t and 0 at 8t, and so on it continues. It is a periodic signal, let us say, or even if it is non-periodic, does not matter. Now, how do I write the discrete representation of this? What is xn, let us say, in the n domain, what is it? If you look at the sample points, at 0t it is 0, right, delta, right, and it is 0.5 at 1t and so on. 1 at 2t it is 1 and at 3t it is again 0.5 and 0 at 4t. Just mentioning that 0, though it will vanish, but it is good to write down. Then at 5t you have minus, starts going in the minus direction, and then 0. So, this is one period, right. So, this is what we would actually have. Now this representation you would like to put it in the Z domain. You would like to include it. You would like to include the Z to the power of terms. Okay. So we saw that it is 1 to 1 actually, except there is a polynomial. It will get converted from a delta impulse kind of train into polynomial, right. So you just make a mapping 0 Z to the power of minus 0. This is at 0 t, 0.5 Z to the power of minus 1 plus 1 Z to the power of minus 2 plus 0.5 Z to the power of minus 3 plus 0 Z to the power of minus 4 minus 0.5 Z to the power of minus 5 minus 1 Z to the power of minus 6, 0.5 Z to the power of minus 7 minus 0 Z to the power of minus 8. Yeah. So this would be your Z transformed representation of the continuous signal xt. Okay. So because it is 1 to 1, it is actually very simple. You just take the same coefficients, and the beauty here is that it is now a polynomial in Z, and you can do all possible mathematical analysis that a polynomial can take. Okay, so this is the representation. Now let us see what this Z implies. Okay, what is the significance of this Z to the power of minus 1? Okay, take this same wave shape, and we know that this is the Z transformed representation of the continuous domain signal xt, right. Now let us say you multiply by Z to the power of minus 1. This Z transformed, this representation, you multiply by Z to the power of minus 1. What happens? Everything, all the power gets increased, minus negative power increased by 1. So you will see that it will be 0 to the power of minus 1, 0.5 to the power of minus 2, 1 to the power of minus 3, 4, so on up to Z 0, Z to the power of minus 9. It is actually shifted, the power. So when you plot back again, Z to the power of minus 1 implies at 1t sampling time. So it is 0 at this point, so we mark that. Okay. Z to the power of minus 2 is 2t, so it is 0.5 at this point, 1, so on. Okay. And at 5t it is 0, and then minus 0.5 at 60, minus 1 at 70, and then minus 0.5 at 80 and 90. So if you see, the signal is actually time shifted. Okay. So Z to the power of minus 1, okay, multiplication by that implies that there is a unit delay, one sample time delay. Now this is the functional significance. What does it mean physically? Okay. Physically it would mean so I have a signal un. Okay. It goes through one block, and you have this, right. So at a given instant of time k, kt, okay, here it is uk, I will write it as uk, means u in brackets kt. Okay. I am going to represent this in a much more elegant fashion like this, much more easier to. So, at that instant in time it is UK. So, on this line you will get UK. On this line you will get UK minus 1. At that particular instant KT, you would get the present value here and you will get the immediate past value, one sample time delayed value here. Okay. What does it mean in a physical sense here? What is this then? If you put in a microcontroller, the microcontroller from one of the ports, I am taking an input stream, some signal stream, I am sampling and taking it, and then I am passing it through one memory block. Now, let us say I have a memory. I take that, store it here, and then also pass it into one more output port. So, at this output port I am getting UK minus 1. Then next sample time, that is output, whatever is in the memory is outputted to this port, okay, and whatever the fresh value is now coming in there. So, it implies this is a memory element. Now, it depends whether it is 1 bit, 1 byte, 1 word, whatever it is, depending upon this input stream. Now, if this is a bit stream, this is a 1 bit memory. If this is a byte stream, 1 byte, or word stream, it is 1 word. So, this is 1 unit of memory. Z to the power of minus 1 would imply 1 unit of memory, 1 memory unit. So, if you see in your transfer function, this is the order of the system, Z to the power of minus 8, which means I have to reserve 8 units of memory or 8 bytes of memory if it is a byte stream in the data space. Okay. So, if I am having a 100th order filter, let us say, there will be a term Z to the power of minus 100. So, I know immediately in my data memory space I should have 100 bytes available reserve, because that filter needs so much. Okay. So, every such Z to the power of minus 1 would give you an indication how much memory, data memory space I should have. Okay. So, physically it means that Z to the power of minus 1 means 1 unit of memory, very important. Okay. You can map Z to the power of minus 1 to the memory which is there in the hardware. And Z to the power of minus 1 is unit of memory, of course, is your basic building block for any of your digital filters. So, all filters are actually formed using the Z to the power of minus 1, the memory element, or you want to call it a delay element, okay, all one and the same. It means this Z to the power of minus 1, delay element, memory element, all are same. Okay. So, let me have an input stream UN. Okay. Now, I am going to pass it through a series of Z to the power of minus 1 blocks, series of unit delay blocks. Okay. So, I have 1 unit delay block, another unit delay block, so on. I will be having m unit delay blocks in series like this. Okay. So, which means that if I take UK here, it will be UK minus 1 here, UK minus 2 here, so on, UK minus 1 minus m. Okay. Now, each of these outputs including this input I will tap off. Okay. So, let me tap, let me scale. Okay. I will scale it A0, then I will scale after the first block A1, after the second block I will also scale A2, after the mth block you scale AM. right? Now after having scaled the scaled values, I will pass it through a summer. Okay. So you just try to sum them up all, okay, and take the output from the summer, and we will call that one as yn, output of this whole system. Okay, so this is one general purpose filter. Here if you observe the character of this filter, all are feed forward terms only. If you see yn is based on only the inputs. Okay, all are feed forward terms. There are no feedback terms, in the sense that generally in a filter, low pass filter, isn't it, we have a feedback, inherent feedback going from the output to the input side through a delay mechanism, but this is just one direction. Only u is delayed and then given to the output in some scaled manner. Okay. So if you look at the response, okay, time domain response, discrete time domain response. Okay. Now let us say at this point I have just here a kind of an impulse in the sense that I have one and I have sampled it, okay, and that is it. It is just that one at 0t. Okay. Now what do you expect as yn? This is what I am giving as input. Input is only this, okay, value 1. Okay. What should be yn? So at time 0, this is going out like this, right? All these are zeros, zeros, zeros. Okay. So 1 into a naught will go out like this, right? So at time 0, this is what it is. Then as time evolves, okay, 1t, what happens? That 1 which was here would have passed here, right, and that gets multiplied by a1. Here it is 0, all else it is 0. Okay. So a1 comes into the picture, some a1, I have just put some arbitrary a1. Then after time 2, the 1 would have come here, multiplied by a2, so on till the number of delay blocks which you will have, and then it becomes am, and then afterwards dies. There is nothing, no more else, no more memory blocks available. So many memory blocks you have put and just gone through these things. Now this is your response. I have just given one single one at this point, consider it as an impulse, and the response to that is this. You have so many impulses, but in if you take it as a discrete wave shape, it is like a sample and held up to the next point, sample held up to the next point, so on, it will keep happening, the discrete signal. Now let us look at what is the relationship between the output and the input. Okay. Now if I take a snapshot at some instant k, at some instant kt, isn't it? So I have yk. So yk is basically summation of all those, right? Yk is a naught into u of k plus a1 into u of k minus 1 plus a2 u of k minus 2 Now if I have to convert it into Z domain, what do I do? Coefficients don't change, right? 1 to 1 correspondence. I have a naught this will be u of z plus a1. What will be this? U of z delayed by 1 unit. So, u of z into z to the power of minus 1, delayed version of u of z, okay, 2 times delayed version of u of z. Right. So, this is your z transformed equation. So, y of z is a naught u of z, so on. Okay. So, transfer function y of z by u of z.
Sir, here u of z is the impulse, right?
U of z is u of z is the z transform value of u of n. U of n need not be an impulse. See here for this particular figure we took that, it could be anything. Whatever you are sampling, sample, hold. It could be an impulse, it could be a triangle wave, it could be a sine wave, discrete version, could be anything. Need not be periodic, it can be aperiodic, anything. At an instant k, you have sampled something came. Okay. So, that with respect to that value, okay, and the past history of up to m values history, you can find out the value of yk. Okay. It is not necessary that it should be an impulse, it could be any u. So, when you say transfer function here, what is it? U of z's will all come off. So, it is just the coefficients multiplied by their respective z to the power of minus 1 polynomials. Okay. Now, we say this is a transfer function. Does it have poles and zeros? It has poles and zeros, right? Where are the poles?
Z equal to 0.
How many poles are there? So, there are m poles, right? If you see a naught plus a1 z to the power of minus 1, am z to the power of minus m, okay, or you could write it as a naught z to the power of m plus a1 z to the power of m minus 1 am by z to the power of m. Roots of this will give you the zeros. This roots of denominator will give you the poles. Now, here all the poles, if there are m poles, all the poles are lying at z is equal to 0. So, if you are having m poles, all m will lie at z is equal to 0. That is the character of this particular filter. So, when you look at the filter, see that all the poles lie at z is equal to 0, then it is just a forward direction filter, also called as a finite impulse response filter. Means you have an impulse, the response is finite, it is there up to only the number of memory blocks that you have. Okay. After that it becomes 0. Okay. So, in the signal processing literature, you will see that this is called as an FIR filter. Okay. But for us, we do not really go by whether it is an FIR filter or a infinite impulse response filter or anything. We just go by these transfer functions. So, if you have a finite impulse response filter, quite evidently it also means that you will have an infinite impulse response filter. Yeah, before that, before we see that, I will like to put some explanation. You see, we had this plant, right? In a very simplistic sense, this is our control system, right? So, we said that this is a continuous domain system. I have Ax plus Bu. Plus, of course, you also have the output. It goes without saying, even if I do not write this, you have y is equal to Cx plus du. Though this is what we are focusing on most of the time, because that indicates the dynamics of the system. Now, this has to be taken inside. So, when it is taken inside, it becomes xk plus 1. So, this matrix and that matrix are not exactly same. There is a sampling time also coming into the picture. So, they are different. And likewise, you have yk is Cxk plus Ed uk, right. Now, if you look at this here, so central to this you have this block. And central to this, I will write here also, is the integrator block. Okay. So, what it basically means is that you have a summer, so in the continuous domain, that model, this model in the most generic sense can be visualized like this. Central to that is the integral element there. If it is a single equation, then all are one dimensional, you have one integrator. Okay. If this is a set of linear differential equations of order n, then there are n lines here. So, there are n integrators coming in. Okay. So, likewise, if you look at this particular discretized version of the state equation, central to that is this. So how does that look like? So here also you will have summation, only the integrator gets replaced. You have u of k the characteristic matrix of the plant system. X of k. So, we are getting it right. This is x of k plus 1. X of k plus 1 passed through unit delay x of k . Then the feed forward term, right from here. Y of k, right. So, you see this is your discrete state equation visualization, and observe that this is basically the central figure there. Okay. Likewise, if it is a single equation, all these are single lines. If it is order n, all these lines become multiple lines. You will have n states, okay, n lines coming in there. You will have n such z to the power of minus 1s unit delays. So, everything is a filter. Okay. So, but this is a filter where you also have a feedback. You see this portion is a filter. Okay. If you take this, you take first order in the S domain, a by s plus a, it is like this, isn't it? So, this is a, okay, minus a, comes in like that. So, there is a local feedback from the output to the input. Here also you will see local feedback. In fact, that is the most generic form of the filter. So, that is what we will extend this filter to. This is only one part of it, that is like this portion of that. Okay. Only the forward portion is this FIR filter. Okay. So, the infinite impulse response, a much more generalized version of the FIR. FIR is a specific case of this infinite impulse response filter, where all the feedback elements scaling factors are made 0. So, the structure is like this, same as in the earlier case. You have a input stream. I have a series of unit delay elements, okay, and I am going to tap off, scale them, sum them. Okay. This is as far as the FIR portion of the filter is concerned. Okay. Now, there is going to be an additional component coming into the picture, which means I am going to take a feedback. So, you tap off from the output and pass it through this unit delay, and there can be any number of unit delays coming into the picture from the feedback point. Just like you had un passing it through a series of unit delays z to the power of minus 1, the output can also be tapped off and passed through series of. Then I can tap off, just like I tapped off from here and scaled, I can tap off from here and scale. Output of first filter, give it here through a B1 scaling, so on output of the nth filter, output of the nth delay element, give it through scaling factor Bn. I have used A naught here, I have not used B naught here, right? Is it okay? Or should I use B naught also? I have used A naught here, right?
Final equation
Ah,
in RHS and LHS will have y of n, so it can be brought together.
how?
So, I mean, y of n equals some terms which contains x and u
Hmm.
plus some terms which contain y with delays plus if we have the b naught yn, that will come, and that we can bring it to the LHS anyway.
Yeah, in principle, in an equation way you can do that, but from the point of causality, if you look at, and you see this output is dependent on itself. Depending on immediate past or any number of past, no problems from the point of view of causality. Okay. Depending upon inputs, present input, no problem. Again, no causality conflicts. Depending upon past inputs, no issue. Depending upon future and depending upon itself, present state, is a no-no. Okay, it is not a causal system, right? So what would happen is, anyway, that will get cancelled with the present, isn't it? Y is equal to y plus something, but the y and y will get cancelled off. All right. So you should never have B naught directly coming from the present state. So that is why it is very intentional and consciously omitted scaling factor. Or if you want to put it and it makes you happy to put that and explicitly set it at 0. Okay. Okay, in this case also we can, so this is a new part here, the feedback part. So this is the feedback part. Now that makes it as a more general filter which can handle all these systems. So here also we can plot the input, the output response with respect to one impulse of value unity at time t equal to 0 and see what happens. So you plot yn and then let us say you have different tick points here implying these are the sample values, and let us have this as the input. So we start with this input. Okay, what happens at time t equal to 0? So at time t equal to 0, if you take all other initial condition states as 0, okay, all these initial condition states are 0. So only this will pass along like that, right? So this will become A naught. So output will be A naught. Now at 1t, this is 0, that 1 would have come to this point, so it is A1, okay, all this is 0, but there is already A naught here, okay, this would have come to this point and then come in there. So you will, so here if you see A1, U1, so whatever the previous value of y1, b1. So y1 is having A naught already into that one. If you want to put it in terms of u, then it will become A naught into u. So like that it starts becoming complex. Next you can kind of evaluate. You take this as your output, pass it through this, and then there is a one delay element A naught, the y1 would have passed, A naught value would have passed in here to the second, so on, and then the 1 would have come here to A2, so on, till let us say this mth time instant sample, mt. After mt, the forward blocks are not contributing anything. All these forward scaling factors will contribute 0. There is no input, right? So what should contribute after mt? It's only this. So this will decay in some fashion depending upon the location of the poles. So if it's a first order system, it will decay exponentially. Okay, if it's a second order system, it will decay manner determined by the time constants and the damping factors. If it's a multiple order filter, according to the pole locations, this will decay. It will increase if it is an unstable pole. Okay, so after that, if it is stable system, it will decay to 0. But being exponential in nature, it's called infinite. There is no stop. You can't say the final end point. It will, when n tends to infinity, it will finally, the response will die down. So this is called an infinite impulse response filter in the signal processing literature. Okay. And again, I will say this is a digital system of a more generic nature. Okay. Now I would like to see what is the input-output relationship for this, okay, and try to compare with the input-output relationship of the earlier case at the FIR filter. So here you have yn, take a snapshot at one particular instant and time kt, a general instant time instant kt. So we will be using that very frequently, taking a snapshot at a general time instant kt. So it will give you a general relationship. So what is yk? So yk, just like in the case of the FIR filter, all the forward blocks, of course, A naught if uk, A1 uk minus 1, so there is 2 uk minus 2, am uk minus m. Plus you need to add something. You also have the feedback terms, right? You have to add for this and add for this in the summation. Okay, the summation we have right now taken care of all these forward terms. Take care of the feedback also, which is y1, v1. I will put it as b1 yk minus 1 Z transform of this. So I will just indicate here like that, right? Same coefficients. This becomes u of z, this becomes u of z, z to the power of minus 1, u of z, z to the power of minus 2, so on. And then when you rearrange it, you will have yz by uz. See, all these terms will come in the numerator, all these terms, okay. U of z you will take it off, all these you will first take it to the left side, right. So they will come in the denominator. What will it be? 1 minus V1, y of k minus 1 is nothing but y of z, z to the power of minus 1. Bn, z to the power of minus n, right? A naught plus A1 z to the power of minus c. So this becomes your transfer function. What is special about this transfer function as compared to the earlier? You can also decide on the poles. See, in the case of the FIR filter, you can design for only the zeros. You don't have flexibility in designing for the poles, right? All poles are fixed at z is equal to 0. In the case of the IAR filter, you have design flexibility for both the zeros and the poles because you can locate them anywhere you want to. That is the important character of the impulse response filter, and therefore you have much greater degree of freedom. That is the freedom also comes with problems. Okay, right on. I'll ask a question here. See, you see this. Now let us say m is 3, n is 3. M is 3, n is 3. What is the order of the filter? Order of the filter, you will go only by the denominator. Order of the transfer function is 3, right? The order of the transfer function, because you go by the denominator. Order of the filter is also 3. Then does it mean that only 3 memory elements are needed? Only 3 data in the data memory, just 3 is sufficient? 6 is needed, or is it just 3?
Maximum 6.
Only 3 data elements is sufficient to make this filter having 3 m's, m is equal to 3 and n is equal to 3. Interesting, right? Think about it and tell me in the next class. Okay, but I will just go forward for now. Okay, you just think about this. This is having z to the power of n. This is having z to the power of minus m. I am setting m is equal to 3, n is equal to 3. Yeah, you will have to try to do that. And the minimum possible, minimum required would be just 3. So likewise, if you keep going, normally in a transfer function, the order of the denominator should be lesser than or more than. So more than or equal to the order of the numerator polynomial if it has to be a causal system, right? So n is generally higher than m, correct? So we fix it at n, the denominator this one. So if the transfer function, the pole characteristic equation is having an order n, then so much data space I will reserve n. But then you have to tell me, answer me, what happens to the to these? These are also memory locations, right? Okay, what happens? So you just try to tell me on that later tomorrow. Just want to make one point before we leave here. Okay, I will have this. Yeah, I will write the summation as a square block. Then I am going to say this is y of n. I will just have u of n. Okay. This is the most important IIR filter you will be using everywhere. Okay. Everybody will be using. Okay. So, what is this? What is the function of this? What is the function of this filter? I have made B1 is equal to 0, of course, always IIR filter B0 is 0, the one which you have. So, that I am not at all considering, I just do not write that. B1 is 1, all other Bi's are 0 for I greater than 1, isn't it? So, it is an IIR filter, of course. What is the relationship? What is yk? Always take a snapshot at some arbitrary time interval point kt. Okay. So, y of k, okay, at some point k, what is it supposed to be? What is this one? This is y of k minus 1. So, I know that this is equal to y of k minus 1 plus there is something. Okay. I will just call this one as a0 into u of k, right. Now, whatever this, this is where we will keep it as flexible. Okay. This portion we are not changing at all. So, what is this portion? Y of z to the power of minus 1 plus something, right. So, this is, if I take y of z by u of z, this will be, this portion you are taking it out. So, there will be something here in the numerator, 1 minus z to the power of minus 1, or this is the structure you will see all your systems having output pass through a delay fed back with 1 as B1 will have z to the power of z minus 1 or 1 minus z to the power of minus 1 as the denominator polynomial, or the pole location is at z is equal to 1. Okay. This is your accumulator. Accumulator equivalent to integration effect in the continuous domain. So, this is an accumulation effect. Okay. So, if this is 0, this stays, right. Yk is yk minus 1, and yk, so on, it keeps going, it stays, it just stays at that initial condition. Okay. The moment I give something here, that adds up and then grows or decreases, depends upon this is plus or minus. Do you get the idea? So, this is the accumulator equivalent of an integrator of the continuous domain in the digital domain. And in fact, this is where you will do lot of improvements to get more and more accurate accumulation. Okay, this will remain, you can't touch this. Here alone you can do, this portion alone you can adjust, you can improve to get better degree of accuracy in your integration equivalence. You can do first order, you can do second order, you can do LinSim, linear, you can do trapezoidal integration, you can do Euler's forward, Euler's backward, Runge-Kutta, all those things are all effect of here. This only will change. So depending upon this you can give the name, or your own name if you want to, you can put one. Okay. So we will look at this being the fundamental, most fundamental which you will use in most of your digital filtering and also for our control purposes. We will see what are the algorithms that we can use. We can look at one or two simple algorithms which we can use and then use that for our control purpose. Yeah.